Hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome to my new lessons about IELTS speaking and writing techniques. Our local time is 6:23 a.m., which is the UK time, dear viewers, once again. And we have just started our first lesson of this whole course. Dear viewers, we have to remember that each and every class has 8 lessons, and this is the first one. And this is how the Hallo subscriber lessons works. So if anyone is interested to subscribe to this lesson, it's very easy. Just if you see the sign up button, click there, then it will take you to the payment page. As Hallo has got offer at the moment, so you're going to get discount, or you're going to get some other benefits. Remember that your interest to join any class is the important thing to connect to your teacher. There are some ways you can also connect apart from the subscription. The number one is subscription like this, live class, or one-to-one session, which is we call private lesson. The number two, you can connect to the teacher through Instamatch. If you go to the find a partner section or Instamatch, then you'll see which teachers are waiting. You'll see their photographs and ID. Just touch on the teacher's photo and the call will connect to the teacher straight away. So these are the 3 ways, and though some students do not know, so these are the ways, guys. Okay, and once again, this is my first I'll speaking and writing lessons. Welcome, everyone. I've got one student for this lesson. Let me see if the person joins or not. Also, it is the rule that even the student is not here, you have to continue your lesson. You have to continue your classes. All right, so let me share. So we're going to discuss speaking tips for the first 4 lessons. And other 4 lessons, we're going to talk writing tips. Half. So as you might be aware, international one moment, please. Hello. Okay. IELTS stands for International English Language Testing. Sorry, not service, system. My apology. System. International English language testing system. So people very often ask me, why do you need to sit for the IELTS? What are the implications? We're going to discuss all of them today, dear viewers. Okay. And also, dear viewers, if you see the heart-shaped symbol, if you're watching from your mobile, it should be at the top. If you're watching from the laptop or tablet or any other device, it should be on the top right hand side. Just touch it once to support. Okay, and we are going to discuss and analyze and explain step by step speaking and writing techniques. Okay, so we're going to analyze all of this information. Bear me a moment, please. Dear viewers, I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so let's move on. So the word IELTS, IELTS stands for International English Language Testing System. Why do you need IELTS? That is the basic question. Many a time our learners ask, why IELTS? Who can sit for it? How long is the validity? Is that in pass or fail marks? And how can I register? How much is the fee? Which country offers it? Okay, so these are the common questions very often learners come and ask me. So we'll go from there. So once again, dear viewers, welcome to my IELTS speaking and writing techniques lesson. It's the first lesson today, our first class, you can say. IELTS stand for once the International English Language Testing System. Why IELTS? There are basically three or four reasons. You need to know why people sit for IELTS exam. Number one is for academic studies. Academic studies, okay, or training or scholarship. Scholarship, training, scholarship, or immigration, which is related to work permit. Okay. Or sometimes some people take IELTS to assess their quality. Your quality of English. Remember, that is also another reason. These are the basic reasons why candidates sit for the IELTS exam. Academic studies, which means, it could be undergraduate, graduate, postgraduate, PhD program, or postdoctoral program. Oh, okay. And also, it could be the part of a scholarship requirement that you've been given scholarship to study in the UK, or you see any European countries, possibly Australia, New Zealand, or the US or Canada. In that case, you need to sit for IELTS exam. Sometimes some people take the IELTS exam to assess the quality of their own English. And also you can, if you want to apply to immigration to Canada and some European countries, or also UK, you need to sit for the IELTS exam and get the required score. Okay, and also if you're coming as a spouse visa, like you're married to a British citizen, you want to come here as a husband or as a wife, in that case, you need to sit for IELTS exam. But that is IELTS functional test, life skills, which is comparatively easier than the normal IELTS exam. And which countries, if you want to move to, does every country need IELTS? No. IELTS is mostly needed for the USA, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, many European countries, UK, and South African countries as well. If you'd like to study or if you like to go there for immigration. So, which countries? Some European countries, some EU countries. New Zealand, and very rare cases South Africa. And who can sit for the IELTS? Anyone can sit for the IELTS exam. You can sit for it. Who is 18 or above. And how long is the validity of the IELTS certificate? Once you sit for the exam from the date, it is 2 years valid. So once you sit for the exam, from the date of your exam, it is 2 years valid, which means that if you like to apply for the admission or immigration or any other purpose, it should be within these 2 years. What happens after 2 years? They consider that you need to get another certificate. And remember that every time you will sit for the exam, your score may fluctuate. It may vary. It may go up or it may go down depending on your performance in the exam. So another question is there any pass or fail marks? What is the score? The IELTS score is 1 to 9 band. Okay, there is no pass or fail marks. Okay, it is just an criteria or requirement to indicate your level of English. Level assessment of your English level. So how can I register for the IELTS exam? Before that, I need to explain that there are two types of IELTS at the moment. IELTS British Council, which is administered from the Cambridge UK, another is IELTS IDP Australia. So two types of IELTS. So you can register either of them. Okay, and is there any difference of these two types of IELTS exam? No, not obviously. Okay, that is Cambridge or British Council. IELTS IDP Australia. They are same valid, only the authorities are two different countries. You can register for the IELTS exam from online by visiting a local British Council or IDP office, or by calling them. But even though you call them, they'll ask you to go and register. Visiting their office, online form, and pay the appropriate fees. How much is the fees? How much is the IELTS fees? At the moment, it is in between £150 to £200, depending on the country. Okay, so there are different types of fees. Let me explain. IELTS academic is, as I said, 175 to 195. IELTS for the UK visas for immigration, 195. Life skill, 150. Let me write it there. IELTS academic general, it is 175 to 195. Then for immigration, 150 as life skill. It includes A1, A2, B1 level, it is 150. How many times can you sit for the exam? As many times as you want. Okay, and as many times. Let me share the story of my uh, junior friend. He needed IELTS 7.5 in academic, but his score was not happy, satisfactory. So he set for 13 times, and every time his score was fluctuating, going up and down. But he needed 7.5 in academic in every section: reading, writing, speaking, and listening. So on the 13th time, he got all of them in the same score, 7.5. It is mandatory requirement to register as a healthcare professional in the UK to get 7.5 and apply for the registration, especially which healthcare profession, like doctors. If you're an overseas doctor, okay, especially if you're from the outside of UK. Now we are not anymore part of the EU, so it is difficult for the EU candidates as well to register. So you need to have 7.5 in academic on all the section like listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Doctors, nurses, pharmacists, and many other professions in the UK, healthcare professions. And this is the reason why my junior friend sat for it 13 times. And on the 13th time, he got 7.5 in IELTS academic. Which country offer it? IELTS is at the moment, there are centers in more than 190 countries, locations. Uh, 140 countries, including 190 locations. So, not 198 locations, not countries. My apology. Okay. 140 countries, including um, and many territories. Okay, so these are the basic information for IELTS exam. Um, you have to remember that kind of IELTS exam are you going to sit for, focus it, and you need to study well. Next, test format. So as I have explained, there are two types of tests. So IELTS academic and IELTS general training. In IELTS, there are 4 papers: listening, reading, writing, speaking. And highlighted, there are two types of modules: academic and general training. So what are the differences? The speaking and listening tests are same in both modules, but the reading and writing tests are different. Okay. So sometimes students ask that which book they should follow. From Cambridge University recently, there is the new latest book. I think it's IELTS 16 version. It's better to have a look. And is there any syllabus for IELTS exam? No, there's no syllabus. But from the textbook and the model test that you can find from online or internet, you can have good idea how the exam papers are made, how you can answer. In IELTS exam, it is not the exam only knowing English, it is the rubrics that you need to know. Okay, so it's better to find out the rubrics, the techniques, the strategies, and tips. And also, very often, many of my students ask me, uh, how many of your students got good score? I always share the story proudly that 26 of my students got scores in between 6 to 8.5 in IELTS exam. And what happened to the students? They got their visas. Some of them came to the UK, and some of them went to Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and some European countries. That's really a hard work for them to get the score and get the visas to arrive there in a dream country. It is an important for all of these students. Whenever I taught them the techniques, strategies, tips, and showed the guidelines and the rubrics, and they followed it. Remember that by studying hard, anyone can get the required score, and you must be one of them. So if you think that you're interested to develop your score or you're interested to get the required marks, it's high time for you to register one of the lessons of me or any other teacher you like. But there are not many teachers who offer IELTS, classes. There are only few teachers on this app. Okay, so as I've explained earlier, if you are after academic module or academic test, go for it. If you have the general training, go for it. So why academic? Once again, choose this if you study at undergraduate, graduate, postgraduate level, or scholarship or training programs, where it is mandatory to show your demonstration of good level of English. Or if you're seeking professional registration, doctors, nurses, find out what is the IELTS academic module, okay? And general training, as I said earlier, that in order to migrate to an English-speaking countries like Australia, Canada, New Zealand, UK, and some European countries as well, sometimes might ask you IELTS exam. Or if you to study, train or study below degree level, find out what is the IELTS general training module. Okay, so IELTS exams paper content time, listening 40 questions, approximately 30 minutes, plus 10 minutes transfer time. Reading 40 questions, 60 minutes. Writing 2 tasks, 60 minutes. Speaking 3 parts in between 11 to 14 minutes. Find it how IELTS first won to the Council of Europe's Common European Framework. Okay. So IELTS academic. What is the IELTS academic reading paper, writing paper, listening paper, speaking paper? Then general IELTS general training reading paper, training writing paper, listening paper, speaking paper. However, all of this information, you know, you can find this information on internet as well. All right, so that is all about the basic information about IELTS. Niwa, thank you very much for your donation. That's so cool. And once again, these lessons are mainly highlighted for speaking and writing, but I will also give the other hints how you can be better in listening and reading as well. Remember that why I have chosen speaking and writing. By self-studying, many students have informed me the teacher we can develop our listening and reading by ourselves. But for speaking and writing, you need a qualified and competent teacher who can help you, guide you, show you, and explain all the techniques, strategies, tips, as well as the rubrics. Once again, rubrics. What do you understand by rubrics? I'm just mentioning again and again rubrics. Rubrics of IELTS exam. So rubrics. Once again, rubrics is very amazing word, honestly, guys. So what do you mean by that? So rubrics has a wider range of explanation. Rubrics are the criteria how you are going to get good marks in IELTS exam. So in speaking task, okay, the rubrics are four things basically. Number one, fluency and coherence, and we're going to explain one by one. Number two is lexical sources. Number three, grammatical range and accuracy. Number four, pronunciation. So what happens? One student asked me last week, teacher, I don't know which one is the British pronunciation, which one is the American, and I very often mixed it up. Okay, if you're not sure, there are some techniques I explain almost every lesson. From this sound and from this way, possibly you can understand this is an American pronunciation or this is a British pronunciation. Remember, dear viewers, there are in the world two types of pronunciation only, which is we call UK IPA, International Phonetic Alphabets, or the US IPA, US International Phonetic Alphabets. And as I said, letter R and letter T is the most prominent two sounds from which you'll be able to understand whether it's a British IP or the American IP. How it is possible? You need to listen to the speaker carefully. Like the way I'm talking, as you can see, most of the times I'm not pronouncing letter R because in the British IPA, in most of the cases, we do not pronounce the letter R. Okay, and this on the other side, on the contrary, you can say when you're contrasting, and American English, there must be letter R prominent. Okay, So though we have to pronounce the letter R when it starts with the beginning of the word, or the R is in between two vowel sounds, but most of the cases, as I say, letter R is not pronounced because of the schwa sound, weaker sounds, and sentence and word structure. So there are a few things I must explain before we start explaining IELTS speaking tips. Number one, let me see if I can copy and paste this page. Oh, it's a very tiny version. So we're going to explain how you can get 9 in IELTS exam speaking task. If you remember, the 4 important requirement for getting 9 is that follow the fluency and coherence, lexical resources, grammatical range and accuracy, and pronunciation. So under the fluency and coherence, what do you understand by fluency, guys? Fluency is the technique when someone can speak without stopping, without difficulties, without any hesitation, without thinking a lot, not too fast, not too slow. Okay, when you're talking fluently, when you're speaking fluently, it doesn't count if you're using grammar or not. It doesn't count if you're using good pronunciation technique or not. It doesn't count if you're using different kinds of vocabs or not. It is only the speaking speed, fluent. Okay, remember that those things are separate. Very often, many of our learners are confused. So, oh, I want to be fluent in English. That is the fluency. You're talking about a topic, you're sharing your thoughts, you're trying to explain it, you're trying to discuss or analyze it in a directions, or possibly in a different concepts. And in IELTS exam, as I said, there are 3 sections in speaking task: task 1, task 2, and task 3. And task 1 is mostly your general conversation with your introduction, and task 2 is the cue card, where you'll be given a topic and then you have to speak about the topics. So you'll be given 1 minute to organize your idea or think about the topic. After that, you'll be asked to speak. So how long should I speak? You should speak as long as you can until the examiner says you stop. Well, we're going to discuss everything, okay, guys, one by one. So let me first explain the banding technique. Number 9, band 9. Speaks fluently with only rare repetition or self-correction. Important 2 words, repetition. Very often I have observed that many of our learners are repeating the word, like actually. One of them is actually, you know what, well, we call sometimes there are feelers as well. Do not be repetitive. That's the first and number one criteria. And self-corrections, you're making mistakes, but you're correcting in the next moment. Yeah, self-correction is good, but rare. Okay, you can do it in the exam as well. Oh, thank you very much, June, for supporting me, our CEO. Welcome. And the next one is no hesitation in content related rather than to find words or grammar. speaks coherently with full, appropriate, cohesive features, develop topics fully and appropriately. So what does coherence means, guys? That is another important matter. Coherence always deals with you're talking about the topic step by step, one after another, only about the topic. Do not bring any unnecessary words or explanation where your audience might be confused. So what it means is that when you're speaking about a topic, only discuss the related information. Like if you have been asked to speak about global warming, only talk about the global warming. What is it? Why it is important? How it can be resolved? Possible solutions, etc. And your thoughts. Remember that in any topic, you have the opportunity to add your thought, and that is very much important for you. And in lexical resources, so what do you understand by lexical resources, guys? Lexical resources has wider range of meaning. Number one, it may be a synonym. So when you're learning a word, try to find out which kind of word it is, especially which kind of participle is. Is it a noun or pronoun or adverb or adjective? And has it got any other synonyms? If so, if you have to use this word once again, just use the synonym. And it could be an antonym as well, as I said. It could be homonym, it could be homophone, it could be an expression, English expression, it could be a phrase, it could be an idiom, or it could be a phrasal verbs, it could be group verbs, and try to use it. So they're the most features of lexical resources, and try to use this as much as possible with wider varieties. And also the second point is use idiomatic language naturally and accurately. And very often, many of our users use very rare vocabs. Remember that using correct word is important, but do not use such a word or new word which is difficult for you to make sentences or for the examiner to understand. Sometimes it is the discretion of the examiner how they can mark, but still you have to understand that as long as you use the most common, widely used vocabs, but use some standard academic vocabs. That's suggestible. That is understandable, but do not use very rare or something people never use. So those are the two important factors for the lexical resources. Now, the third point is grammatical range and accuracy. Uh, Honestly, guys, grammar is important. Though many teachers, many linguists say we don't need to know grammar. That's totally wrong. If you are to get good scores, any academic exams, it's not only IELTS. If you're studying in undergraduate or graduate or postgraduate level, you need to write English correctly. And you can only write if you know the grammar well. Being a non-native, a candidate or non-native speaker, you have to understand not a single word goes beyond the grammar rule. And natives learn the grammar automatically because they're born there, the way you speak in your own language naturally. So use a full range of grammar when you are speaking or writing, and use it appropriately. I always use 4 words: understandable, complete, clear, logical, and understandable. Once again, complete, clear, logical, understandable. If you speak in these 4 ways, or if you write a sentence this way, your readers or your listeners will be able to understand you. Otherwise, they're going to ask you, what do you mean by this or that? Second one is produces consistently accurate structures apart from slips characters of the speaker's speech. Okay, here is another important matter about this grammatical range and accuracy. Spelling. We have to focus on spelling, dear viewers and dear candidates. As there are 2 types of spellings at the moment, once again, like British English spelling and American English spelling. Except the few words, most of the spellings are same. If I give you an example, would be better, like the words utilize. I'm sure you know that utilize with S is the British way, British English. With Z, American English. So follow only one type of spelling technique, either the British way or the American way. Do not mix it up. Similarly, when you're having conversation, when you're having speaking task, do not mix the two types of pronunciation technique in the exam. It is much unlikely that you're going to get good score. Though many examiners have, IELTS examiners have different, you know, concept. Some examiners say it's fine as long as the candidate is it correctly, but some, examiners said no, the candidate must be aware before sitting the exam which one is the American pronunciation, which one is the British pronunciation. And my suggestion would be it's better to be aware and do not mix it up. If you'd like to get good score like above 7, when is the matter of above 7? Now they are going to assess each and every pronunciation you're trying to produce in the exam, and also the spelling techniques. Okay, so be careful about the spelling text mixing up, and similarly pronunciation. And the next one is under the grammatical range and accuracy, it says uses a full range of structure naturally, appropriately, produces consistently accurate structures apart from sleeves, which I've explained. And last one is pronunciation. So you get 25% mark in fluency in coherence, another person in lexical source, another 25% in grammatical range and accuracy, and the last one is pronunciation. Dear viewers or candidates, notice that there is no marks for your accent. It is the pronunciation. Pronunciation is the important matter in order to get good marks in IELTS exam. As I said, we need to know at least the basic techniques of pronunciation. And do you know that like letter A has at least 8 different sounds depending on the word and structure. So if you don't know where you have to say A as A or O or A or wa or I, then it will be difficult to get good marks. So which is why it's better for you to register a lesson with a suitable teacher, qualified teacher, who can help you understand, who can help you analyze these things, explain. And it's at the end of the day, remember, whatever you do, it's a matter of practice. Okay, so for the pronunciation, number 1 technique, use a full range of pronunciation features with precision and subtly. What it is means that when you're trying to pronounce a word, try to follow the 100% accurate pronunciation techniques. Okay, and just do not be go for your own way of pronouncing, though sometimes it is difficult for many of us to pronounce a word correctly, because maybe it is the impact of the mother tongue on the English language, and that is very much likely. But you can overcome it if you practice it. If you know how to pronounce a word correctly and clearly, just apply those techniques and methods, and I'm sure that it'll be improving in a very amazing way. But as I said, sometimes you cannot do it possibly. That's why you need to subscribe to a teacher, subscribe to a qualified teacher who can help you. And follow the precision means accuracy, 100% accuracy technique. And sustains flexible and features throughout, which means that when a word is not a word, a letter is used in different spelling, it sounds different. So it is flexible in that case. So just follow it and practice it, and your pronunciation and your words are correct, effortless, and easy to understand. So these are the some techniques basic techniques of IELTS speaking task. Let's move on. Okay, a little bit elaboration of the speaking tips of IELTS exam. Grammar. Now we have explained already. Use correct grammar. Now the biggest challenging question is, how do you know that it is a correct grammar? Sometimes as a learner or as a candidate or as a student, you're not able to find out on your own mistakes. So you need to take a lesson. Clarity. What do you understand by clarity? Do not mumble. Speak clearly. Okay, so some people sometimes, I've noticed that they become nervous in the exam or in the public speaking, and they just mumble. They do not talk clearly. Speak clearly, loudly, like it's a baby. If you remember, when a baby cries, they don't care anyone. They start crying with the sound. Similarly, when you're talking in a public speaking or a test, just speak clearly, loudly, so that your examiner can hear whatever you're pronouncing, whatever you're saying. Remember, unless the examiner can hear you, there is no way the examiner can assess your speaking. It is much important for you to be clear, to be loud, but not that much loud, loud enough so that you can discuss the topic on the matter. Number 3 is again accuracy. Focus on clear grammar and precision, and do not try to use new words or phrases you're not sure of. What it needs that, as I explained earlier, many of our learners, I've noticed that they try to use very rare academic words, very rare vocabs, where most of the cases people do not know that. Remember, it is an important matter for you. Even with using most commonly used vocabs, you can get good score, and that is important for you. Okay. And if you know a new word but you don't know how to make sentences or how to use in a sentence, then it will be difficult for you to explain during your exam time. Self corrections, yeah, that is acceptable in everywhere, in even IELTS exam. But remember, in order to get good marks like above 7, 8, or 9, just you have to be accurate. Those self correction is acceptable. So what is a self correction? Like you're explaining something and suddenly you have made a mistake in a grammar, subject verb agreement, or in a tense, or in a parts of speech, or any other mistakes. You correct it straight away. That is amazing. Your examiner will be happy about that you have corrected yourself. But in order to get good marks, remember, above 7, you should be accurate. And sometimes some candidates say, I don't bother when I'm talking because we always make mistakes. That's right. Yeah, as a human being, as a non-native speaker, we do make mistakes. We make mistakes every time. That's true. And this is the important thing, is that even though mistakes are there, you can convey your messages. That is really quite understandable in public speaking. But when it's the matter of test, your every mistake is counted. Remember that. Your every word is important. Your every word is analyzed by the examiner, which is why it will affect on your marks. Talk loudly. Yeah, if you're talking very low voice, then nobody's going to listen to you. It will be difficult for the examiner. Even when we make live stream publicly here in this Hallo, sometimes I've noticed that many of our learners speak very faint voice, low voice, and we always ask them, please speak loud, speak up, so that we can hear you. Okay, and do not speak too fast and too slow. Remember, it is another important criteria for you. Don't speak too fast. Don't speak too slow. Hi, Anita. Thank you very much. Good morning. Thanks for the donation, Anita. That's really cool. Okay, and the next one as I go through. Oh, only 8 minutes more. No worries. So this is the preliminary lesson, guys, for the IELTS uh, writing and speaking. This class is going every Monday and Tuesday morning, 6:30 UK time. Once again, dear viewers, if you're interested to join, it is high time for you to sign up for this lesson. It is very easy. I believe that there is an offer from the Hallo starting from this week that possibly you're going to get 20% discount. So possibly it is $8. So also, if you have $1 in your account, you can go for the 2 weeks free lessons. Okay, or you can subscribe the whole month with $8. So literally, there are 8 lessons a month. Each lesson is $1. It's nothing. In the UK, especially in London, Oxford, and Cambridge, there are many English learning schools. Do you know how much you have to pay if you like to learn English from there? They offer 15 hours every week for 4 weeks, 60 hours, and you have to pay at least minimum £600, which is for every lesson you're paying there £10. Whereas with 10 US dollar, now it is 8. From the Hallo, you're going to get 8 lessons, supervised, amazing lessons from the teachers, which you can watch it again and again because it is for you in the teacher's account. It will be saved there. No one will be able to watch you except you. So grab the opportunity, guys. It is really amazing way our CEO and other people have developed this app and made it worldwide. And our target is in the next 5 years, we'll be the number one app, English learning app around the world. Everyone will know in the twinkle of an eye, oh, this is the Hallo app. Okay. And I'm sure if you have to use other apps, you have to pay. But whereas this is totally free, you don't have to pay anything yet. Okay, so maintain 3 seconds gap technique in speaking. Very important. Very many a time it happens. People and can it start speaking about a topic and they stop and they start thinking, well, what I'm going to say, what is the next word or next sentence or vocabs. And sadly, it happened to one of my students, and I like to share the story. One of my students went to the speaking task section and become nervous. And teacher asked him, examiner asked him, "What's your name?" He could tell his name, and then he started sweating. He's this much of nerve, and the teacher said to him, "Are you okay?" He's not talking. He didn't talk a single word. Teacher asked him about you know speaking task 1, 2, 3. He couldn't tell anything, and he got zero, sadly. And he informed me later, the teacher, I got zero in my IELTS speaking section. What should I do? He's an amazing speaker because I took his lessons and he really performed well. Again, I said to him, okay, take some more lessons and be confident. Don't be nervous. Answer it, whatever you think, whatever you can. And after that, I think he took few lessons, and after 3 months, he registered for another exam of IELTS exam. And this time, you wouldn't believe he got 6 straight away from 0 to 6. That's really a great breakthrough for him. And I said to him, you see, you're an intelligent person, intelligent boy. So just follow the technique. Maintain the 3 seconds gaps, guys. So what is the 3 seconds gap? When you're talking about any topic, if you have to pause, choose the next word or next sentence within the 3 seconds. Like you're describing, say, global warming once again, an easy topic. So you have started saying global warming is a problem for all the citizens of the world. Then you stopped for once again, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Then you started talking. And the reason for global warming is that it is a human-made problem. No, no, no. Sometimes people say no, no, no. Yes, yes. Remember that. Don't say no, 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 or yes, 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 twice or 3 times when you're speaking. Just simply say no or yes, be it calmly. Okay. Remember that when you're expressing any words in a calm mood, examiner can easily understand you're quite in a what should I say? You're quite confirmed about your topics and quite definite about your discussion. But when you say no, no, no 3 times, 2 times, or yes, yes, yes 2 times, 3 times, then it makes you that you are really uncertain about the topic. You're not sure. You have to understand that speaking, IELTS speaking is just a matter of speaking. It's kind of art, you can say sometimes. So it depends on your practice of this kind of all the methods and rubrics, as I said. Rubrics are those techniques and strategies that will help you getting required score, good score. And once again, follow the 3 seconds gap. Don't be paused for more than 3 seconds. And when you're talking, once again, be confident and positive. Even if you know that you're going to make the mistakes in the exam, but learn from it. This is the essence. The essence of making mistakes is that if you can learn from it and if you promise yourself that, oh, I'm not going to make a mistake again, I'm going to learn. Okay? Remember that your every mistake is your motivation. Your every mistake is your internal positive, moving ahead attitude. Your every mistake is your learning tools. All right, everyone. So it's going to be finished in 28 seconds. Thank you very much, dear viewers, for listening to me. I believe that my student who subscribed to this lesson didn't come today. I don't know the reason why. Possibly the student is coming later. Uh, to those students, and this lesson would be locked because it is only for my intended subscriber. My student can watch it later. Thank you very much, guys. Best of luck. See you later.